Same starting line, different crowd underneath it. Stands at the same coordinates where it began before. Same city, same gym, same blank page, same floor. But the ground beneath the standing is a different kind of earth. Every previous attempt compressed into the worth. Beneath the surface of the same location start, the ground holds the memory of every broken part. In every rebuild section, in every lesson from the fall, the ground is different now. That's the starting over's core. I used to think returning to the start meant equal ground. The ground is different now. The difference is profound. The ground is different now. I'm standing on the years. The ground is different now. Compressed beneath the fears I faced and the lessons I extracted and the cost I paid in full. The ground is different now. That's the starting over's pull. Same line, different earth. The ground is different now. That's the word. Same coordinates, but the person weighs more in the good way. Every previous starting over pressed into the clay. Beneath the feet, making the foundation of this new start. Denser and more capable of holding what the new chart requires of it. The same starting line is a different test. When the ground beneath it has the memory of the rest of the previous attempts compressed into the support. The ground is different now. That's the starting over sport. Returning to the start, man, equal ground. The ground is different now. The difference is profound. The ground is different now. I'm standing on the years. The ground is different now. carry. Expected the second start to carry twice the weight of the first. Expected the accumulation of the falls to make the third. For beginning twice as heavy and the road twice as long. Found the opposite when I picked it back up and began the song again. Found the second time I knew when not to pack. Knew the excess weight I carried on the first track. The anxieties about the outcome, not the doing, would address. The second time is lighter because I learned to carry less. I used to think each restart accumulated all the weight before. Lighter the second time, I know what to leave behind the door. Lighter the second time, because I know what not to bring. Lighter the second time, the doing is the only thing that matters. Not the audience, not the guarantee, not the note. Lighter the second time, the weight is in the overthrown. Expectation of the first. Lighter the second time, I know the worst. Left the performance anxiety at the entrance of the second start. Left the need for it to look a certain way to other eyes apart from mine. Left the comparison to the first chapter's pace. Left the grief of the distance between the old and the new place. On the map packed only what the work requires. The discipline, the standard, and the building fires. Under the compound, nothing more, nothing that weighs the extra. Lighter the second time, the start is better. I used to think each restart accumulated all the weight before. Lighter the second time, I know what to leave behind the door. Lighter the second time, because I know what not to bring. Lighter the second time, the doing is the only thing that matters. Not the audience, not the guarantee, not the note. Lighter the second time, the weight is in the overthrow. Expectation of the first. Lighter the second time, I know the worst. The first chapter was the setup. The second chapter is where it gets real. The first chapter had the novelty, the urgency, the drive of the beginning before the hard middle arrived. First chapter had the energy of not yet knowing where it ends. First chapter had the audience before the audience bends away. When the story slows into the work nobody sees. First chapter is the easy part for most. The second chapter frees itself from the appeal of the beginning and depends on what the person's actually made of when the audience ends. I used to grieve the ending of the first chapter as the loss. The second chapter is the real one. That's the cross. The second chapter is the real one. No beginning left to coast on. The second chapter is the real one. getting into the actual walk through the difficult middle of the thing that started bright. Second chapter's where the real one shows its actual light. Or doesn't second chapter separates the stated from the done? Second chapter is the one that proves the first chapter was won genuinely or just in the favorable conditions of the start. The second chapter is the real one, that's the heart. I used to grieve the ending of the first chapter as the loss. The second chapter is the real one, that's the cross. The second chapter is the real one. No beginning left till coast on. The second chapter is the real one. No novelty to post on. Just the actual work of building what the first chapter declared. The second chapter is the real one. Are you prepared to write it without the audience? The second chapter is the real one. That's the sentence. Second chapter, real one. Writing it now. The scoreboard says 0. The person standing here is not 0. The scoreboard got reset and every number went to 0. The title, the position, the accumulated hero status that the previous chapter built across the years. The scoreboard says 0 and the 0 interferes with the identity until I separate the score from the person who was standing here with everything before. Still running in the system. 0 on the board doesn't mean the person standing here is 0. I recall I used to let the scoreboard 0 mean the person was the same. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0's just a different game. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 means the board is clean. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 is the in-between of what was built and what is building, not the absence of the real. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 doesn't steal the person that the years produced. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 it's just the starting use. It's just the starting use. The number on the board was always just a number on the board. It never was the full accounting of what the years had scored. In the person underneath the score, the person carried forward every lesson, every rep, every direction that was charted before the reset. 0 on the board is just a surface. The person standing here at 0 has a different purpose, and the number 0 is the invitation to begin. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 is the starting again. I used to let the scoreboard 0 mean the person was the same. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0's just a different game. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 means the board is clean. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 is the in-between of what was built and what is building, not the absence of the real. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 doesn't steal the person that the years produce. 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 it's just a starting use. Doesn't mean nothing. Person still here. The first attempt second attempt, knowing what it costs. That's courage. Of not knowing what would come, not knowing the full weight of what the building asked from some reserves you didn't know you'd have to spend the first attempt. Was brave in the unknowing, went in without the unkempt evidence of what goes wrong, went in without the scar of the previous collapse, still mapped on every bar of the rebuild. The second attempt knows what the first one cost. The courage of the second attempt is the most honestly tossed. I used to think the first attempt was the brave one in the story. The courage of the second attempt carries a different glory. The courage of the second attempt is knowing what you're walking into. The courage of the second attempt is choosing through. The knowledge of the cost, the knowledge of the fall. The courage of the second attempt is the most honest call of the brave, the most deliberate. The courage of the second attempt, legitimate. Pick it back up with the memory of the drop still in the hand. Walk back to the starting line with the full understanding of how far the distance is between the start and where it broke. Walk back into it anyway, that's the second attempt. Stroke of the courage, the deliberate return, knowing the terrain. The courage of the second attempt lives in the knowing of the pain, and choosing it regardless, choosing the attempt despite. The courage of the second attempt, I showed up for the fight. I used to think the first attempt was the brave one in the story. The courage of the second attempt carries a different glory. The courage of the second attempt is knowing what you're walking into. The courage of the second attempt is choosing through. The knowledge of the cost, the knowledge of the fall. The courage of the second attempt is the most honest call of always going to disjoint under pressure, which design decisions were the flaws that the urgency of building fast had glossed across. Now the rebuild takes more time because the blueprint's being built, not copied, not restored, built fresh and without the guilt of the departure from the original. Rebuild different is the choice. Rebuild different, that's the starting over's voice. I used to want the old thing back, exactly as it was. Rebuild different. The fall was a redesign because rebuild different. Not the same with better materials. Rebuild different, the originals, imperials of the structure showed their limits when the structure fell. Rebuild different, I learned the lesson well. Not a copy of the old. Rebuild different, the new story told. Rebuild different, not the same on purpose. They call it starting over. I call it starting at 4. Yeah, they look at the rebuild and see the loss, see the reset, see the regression to a starting line that I should regret. But the starting line I'm standing at this time is not the same as the one I stood at first. I carry everything that came between the first beginning and the current one in hand. Every lesson from the version that fell understands the new build at a depth the first attempt couldn't possess. Not starting over, starting informed, I know when not to press. I used to hear starting over as the proof the first was wasted. Not starting over, starting informed, the first was how I tasted. Not starting over, starting informed with everything I know. Not starting over, starting informed about where not to go. The previous attempt is the most expensive education. Not starting over, starting informed, that's the translation of the loss into the advantage. Not starting over, starting informed, that's the language. The first build showed me every flaw I couldn't see before. The first collapse revealed the structural issue at the core that no amount of planning at the start could have detected. Without the living through it, without the evidence collected from the actual attempt. Now the second build begins with the blueprint annotated by the margin notes of sins and corrections from the first. That's not starting over, not starting over, starting informed. The rebuild's colder. I used to hear starting over as the proof the first was wasted. Not starting over, starting informed, the first was how I tasted. Not starting over, starting informed with everything I know. Not starting over, starting informed about where not to go. than the first time through. The muscle memory survives the gap and comes back into view sooner than the beginner version ever could have known. Every previous day, one compacted in the bone, and the pattern, the system rebuilt faster on the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth restart, because the body heard every previous version of the work and kept the code. Day one again, I'm not starting from the road. I used to fear the day one like a man I lost the ground. Day one again, the ground is different now, the ground is sound. Day one again, not starting from the zero of before. Day one again, I carry everything I've learned, I carry more than the person at the last day one had access to. Day one again, the starting line is not the same as who was standing here last time. Day one again, I bring the climb. Day one again, not zero. I bring front of the line was never a gift. It was a line I cut with a word. Watch the others wait around for somebody to wave them through. Watch them ask for shortcuts, watch them ask for who they knew. I just kept on working when the line was barely moving slow. Built my own momentum till I didn't need to ask for sure. Nobody waved me forward, nobody cleared the way. I built to speed myself through every single hard-earned day. This isn't luck, this isn't timing, this isn't who I know. This is years of paying forward before I asked to go. I stopped waiting for somebody else to move me up the line. Started building so much momentum that I left it all behind. Front of the line, I paid my way. No favors, no free rides. Every step I took up, there was a step I justified. Nobody handed me a thing, nobody cleared the path. I built to speak myself with every rep and every math. Not given, not gifted, not owed. Everything I got, I built it on the road. On the road. Some people wait their whole life hoping someone moves them up. Spend their whole life waiting for the wave, waiting for the luck. I just kept my head down working when the doubt was loudest there. Built up proof of brick by brick until the room had to compare. Now I'm standing where I stand because of everything I paid. Every quiet sacrifice, every choice that I have made. This is what it looks like when you build it stone by stone. Front of the line, pay my way, this one's mine alone. I stopped waiting for somebody else to move me up the line. Started building so much momentum that I left it all behind. Front of the line, I paid my way. No favors, no free rides. Every step I took up, there was a step I justified. Nobody handed me a thing, nobody cleared the path. I built to speed myself with every rep and every math. Not given, not gifted, not owed. Everything I got, I built it on the road. On the road. Pay my way every step. Everyone wants the result. Almost nobody stars. Watch the trends come fast and loud, the quick fix and the hype. Watch them fade out just as fast as anything overnight. I'm not building for the season, I'm not building for the year. I'm building for the decade where the small things disappear into something massive, something nobody can deny. Patience isn't passive, patience is the reason that I try. Every day's a single brick laid into something built to last. Long game doesn't ask for speed, it only asks for grass. I used to want it now, used to want it fast and loud. Now I trade the rush for something built to hold the ground. Long game, I'm playing the long game. Every year adds up to something nothing else can claim. Not for the moment, not for the flash, not for the quick applause. Long game, I'm building something built to last. Decades, not days, that's the only way. Watch the impatient ones burn bright and burn out fast and young. Watch the steady ones outlast them, quiet building never done. I don't need the spotlight now, I need the decade-long return. I'm not racing for the headline, I'm racing for the slow burn. Every year I stack another layer onto what I've made, building something permanent instead of something fast that fades. This is the discipline they never teach you in a sprint. Long game isn't glamorous, but long game is what's meant. I used to want it now, used to want it fast and loud. Now I trade the rush for something built to hold the crowd. Long game, I'm playing the long game. Every year adds up to something nothing else can claim. Not for the moment, not for the flash, not for the quick applause. Long game, I'm building something built to last. Decades, not days, that's the only way. Long game, decades, not days. Long game, decades, not days. Take my time at the bottom, leaving without permission. Sat in the failure long enough to learn what it was made of. Long enough to know the texture, know the way, know the shape of every corner of the lowest point I'd ever known. Did the work of understanding, did it quiet, did it alone. But I'm not hanging my address, they're not building a home. The bottom's where I did the learning, not where I belong. I paid the season, paid the tuition, took the grade. Now I'm walking out of it without a debt left to be paid. I used to think the bottom and I had to earn my leaving. Now I know the leaving is the entire point of the grieving. I told all the bottom an apology for leaving. Did my time, took the lesson, kept on breathing. Failure doesn't get a lifetime lease on where I stand. I told all the bottom an apology. I stand. Pain and fall, now I'm moving. Done with sighing in the ruin. Pain and fall, now I'm moving. Done with sighing in the ruin. Watch the ones who stay down at the bottom long past due. Use the failure as an identity, a reason not to move. I'm not saying skip the processing, the bottom needs its time, but the know is now. I'm not loyal to the lowest point. I don't know how failure built me something I couldn't have built above, but I don't know it anything beyond what it took from. I used to think the bottom and I had to earn my leaving. Now I know the leaving is the entire point of the grieving. I don't owe the bottom an apology for leaving. Did my time, took the lesson, kept on breathing. Failure doesn't get a lifetime lease on where I stand. I don't owe the bottom an apology. I stand. Pain and fall, now I'm moving. Done residing in the ruin. Pain and fall, now I'm moving. Done residing in. 30 tabs open and none of them done. That's not working. That's performing work. Used to wear the busyness like it was proof that I was real. Stack the projects high enough to choke the actual deal. Three things at once, but none of them were getting what they need. Split attention's just a tax on every single guarantee. Found out the hard way that the everything approach produces less and less, and that's the lesson I invoke. Closed it all down to a single open door. One tab, one task, 1 hour, that's the only score. I was measuring my effort by the volume of the open. Now I'm measured by the single thing that's finished, not the open. One tab open, one thing done. No more splitting everything beneath the gun. All the energy into the only thing that counts. One tab open, that's the only route, not the most things started. One thing finished, fully charted. Fully charted. Watch the multitasking myth convince a generation that the scattered and the busy were the marks of dedication. Found the research, found the truth, the switch cost is real. Every context switch you make is a tax on how you feel and what you build and how you think and what you finally finish. Every tab you have open makes the main one diminish. One tab open isn't lazy, it's the discipline of choice. One tab open is how the work finds its actual voice. I was measuring my effort by the volume of the open. Now I'm measured by the single thing that's finished, not the open. One tab open, one thing done. No more splitting everything beneath the gun. All the energy into the only thing that counts. One tab open, that's the only route, not the most things started. One thing finished, fully charted. Every version before the door deserves a different kind of looking. shut the door on. Like the one whose struggle was a stain on the current name. Like the distance between then and now required his shame. But the version in the before picture did the work I'm standing on. Every stumble that he made is every foundation stone I've drawn. I wouldn't be here without the one who didn't have it figured out. Every version before this one is what this is about. I was disowned in the beginning, like it didn't build the end. Every version before this one is something I should did. Every version before this one are the one I am today. Every stumble, every setback, every wrong turn on the way. I don't cringe at the beginning, I don't hide the early shots. Every version before this one is every brick I've got. Not a ghost, not a shame. Every version built this night. Pull the old journal out and read the handwriting inside. Read the fear, read the doubt, read the desperate kind of pride of a person barely holding on to something he could see that wasn't guaranteed yet, but he kept on anyway for me. That's the one I owe the most, the one who didn't have the proof, who kept building on a foundation without knowing about the roof. Now I hold the older versions with a different kind of care. Every version before this one is what got me here. I was disowned in the beginning, like it didn't build the end. Every version before this one is something I should take. Every version before this one and the one I am today. Every stumble, every setback, every wrong turn on the way. I don't cringe at the beginning, I don't hide the early shots. Every version before this one is every brick I've got. Not a ghost, not a shame. Every version built this night. Built this night. Every version before this built this. The reps nobody saw are the ones that build the most. A.m. the building's empty, not a single light on in the hall. Just the hum of the ventilation and the weight against the wall. No spotter, no photographer, no one to count along. Just the bar and what it weighs and how bad I want to be strong. Dark reps don't get a witness, dark reps don't get a share. Dark reps are the ones you do because you know they're already there. In the compound interest of the discipline, the long game of the grind. Dark reps are the reps that build the ones you leave behind. I used to need the light on in the room to make it real. Dark reps taught me the rep counts regardless of what they feel. Dark reps, nobody watching, nobody counting out loud. Dark reps, done in the silence, are the ones I'm most proud of, because they were the hardest and the most honest ones I've done. Dark reps, just me and the bar and the discipline I become. No witness, no receipt. Dark reps are where I meet. Some people only find the effort when the room is paying attention. Find the extra gear exactly at the moment of detection. I built mine the opposite, built it where nobody was. Built a deep reserve of effort for the quiet and the because nobody else was watching, so I had to be the one to care. Every dark rep was a test of whether I'd be there, when the only thing requiring the effort was the code. Dark reps, that's the foundation every visible one is owed. I used to need the light on in the room to make it compass still points. Landmarks one by one until the road looked different. Every reference point I'd use got buried in the instant of the pressure of the change of the season turning hard. Found myself in open country without a single yard I'd recognized before. No familiar shape in view, just the compass in my chest still pointing somewhere true. Didn't know the destination, didn't know the name or where, but the compass still pointed and the pointing still was there. I used to navigate by landmarks that the pressure swept away. Compass still points, that's enough to find the way. Compass still points, even when the map is gone, even when the landmarks disappear and nothing holds along. The values underneath don't need a road to navigate. Compass still points, that's the only thing I've got that's great. No map, no landmark, no road. Compass still points, I still go. Of the rooms that tried to scream me, tested it against the voices that were certain they could win me over to a different heading, a more convenient direction. Held the compass steady through the noise and the infection of opinion and of urgency and manufactured fear. Compass held, compass pointed, compass kept me clear. Now I trust the compass more than any landmark that I've known. Compass still points, I'm still going home. I used to navigate by landmarks that the pressure swept away. Compass still points, that's enough to find the way. Compass still points, even when the map is gone, even when the landmarks disappear and nothing holds along. The values underneath don't need a road to navigate. Compass still points, that's the only thing I've got that's great. No map, no landmark, no road. Compass still points, I still go. Single thing I touch used to rush the rep, rush the red, rush the building just as much as I could stand. Like the arrival had a closing time, like the version I was building was expiring past the line that I was always slightly late for, always slightly behind. Ran myself into the ground for a deadline in my mind that didn't actually exist. The destination doesn't leave, I'm not in a hurry anymore because I finally believe I was running like the thing I'm building had a sell by day. I'm not in a hurry. Up, slowed the pace down and found the depth inside the cup that the rushing had been skipping every time I pushed too fast. Slowed the pace down and found the long game built to last. More than the sprinted version, more than the urgency produced. The unhurried work has a different texture when between the stimulus and the response. There is a space. That space is everything! The response before the stimulus had settled. Every provocation met immediately at full metal. No gap between the trigger and the thing I did or said. No space between the feeling and the action in my head. Found out all the damage happened in that zero gap. Found out everything I wanted to undo was in that snap. Decision to react instead of choose what to do. Control response is the whole mental game, that's the view. I used to let the stimulus decide what I would do. Controlled response. That space between is where I build new. Control response. I own the space between the trigger and the action, the feeling and the scene. I play out in the moment. I choose what leaves my head. Control response. That's where the mental tough stands, not the reaction. The choice. Controlled response. That's my voice. Trying to gap deliberately, made it wider every week. Made it long enough to ask the question of what I seek from the response before I gave it. What's the actual goal? Is the thing I'm about to do or say in service of the whole of what I'm building? Or is it just a feeling seeking out the fastest exit from the discomfort of the doubt? Now the gap is wide enough to fit a question and a choice. Control response, that's the mental tough's real voice. Just to let the stimulus decide what I would do. Controlled response. That's my voice.